Students, today we are going to discuss about forced oscillations and resonance. Forced oscillations and resonance. This is the last topic in this chapter. Okay, in previous classes we have discussed about undamped or free oscillations, free or natural oscillations, in which there is no there is no damping force present. Damping force, no damping force. In that case, displacement is given by x equal to a cos of omega t plus phi, and here omega is nothing but natural angular frequency is given by root k by m. Omega is called natural angular frequency. And we have discussed also about damped oscillations in previous class. Damped oscillation is nothing but when air drag is present, when friction is present, when opposing force is present, the amplitude and energy of the oscillations decreases exponentially with respect to time, and finally the oscillations die out. That is, energy dissipates with respect to time. We have discussed already in previous class. In that case, the displacement was given by x equal to a e power minus b by 2m into t into cos of omega dash into t plus phi, where omega dash is nothing but under root of k by m minus b square by 4m square. So we have discussed already in previous class. Now our topic is about forced oscillations and resonance. See here, because of the damping, the oscillations of the harmonic oscillator decreases exponentially with respect to time, and finally oscillations die out. In order to keep the oscillations forever, we need to apply external force. We need to apply external periodic force in order not to die out the oscillations. We know the best example is when a child is swinging in a swing. A child swing. When child is swinging in a swing, when he goes like this and this, the oscillations will die out slowly because of the damping, and finally the amplitude will become zero. In order not to, when the oscillations die out, the child will cry again. In order not to cry, we need to apply, mother pushes a swing from any one side, not to stop the oscillations. That is, she applies a periodic force. Okay, because of the application of force by mother, the swing goes like this and comes back to this location. When the swing comes to this location, again mother applies the force again. Because of that applied force, it will go like this and come back to same location. Again mother applies force. So here the force is applying periodic. Such type of force we called as periodic force. This type of force is nothing but periodic force because she is applying force periodically. So here Because of this periodic application of force, the oscillations will be continued as long as the force is applied. So such type of oscillations because of the oscillations because of the external periodic force, external periodic force are called forced oscillations. Forced oscillations or driven oscillations. Forced or driven oscillations. So today's topic is forced or driven oscillations. See here how many forces are there here. Total force or net force is equal to, one is restoring force, another one is damping force, another one is driven force or applied force. Okay, so net force is equal to restoring force is nothing but minus kx, and damping force is nothing but minus bv, and driven force is periodic force. Here periodic driven force is given by F naught cos omega d into t plus phi, where F naught is nothing but maximum force, or we call it also force amplitude. We also call it as force amplitude. Okay, and omega d is nothing but driven angular frequency. Right. So here driven force is nothing but F naught cos of omega d into t plus phi. Okay, so net force is nothing but, from Newton's second law of motion, we know that net force is equal to net external force. From Newton's second law, net external force is equal to mass times acceleration. Therefore, mass times acceleration equal to minus kx minus bv plus F naught cos of omega d into t plus phi. So here I am writing A is equal to curvature of position d square by dt square of x, and velocity is nothing but rate of change of position is called velocity dx by dt. Therefore, I am substituting in above equation. So m into d square by dt square of x is equal to minus kx minus b into d by dt of x plus F naught cos of omega d into t plus phi. So by rearranging the terms, we will get m into d square by dt square of x plus b into d by dt of x plus kx is equal to F naught cos of omega d into t plus phi. The solution for this equation, this is a second order differential equation, and solution for this equation is x equal to a cos of omega d into t plus phi. See here, that means wherever x is there, if we substitute in the place of x and apply the derivations, these equations will be satisfied using this formula. So this x is the solution for above second order differential equation, where omega d is nothing but driven angular frequency and a is nothing but maximum displacement. We also call it as amplitude. And see here, in this case, amplitude as a function of forced frequency and the natural frequency, function of forced frequency and the natural frequency. And the natural frequency is given by amplitude A is equal to F naught divided by under root of m square into omega square minus omega d square whole square plus omega d square into b square. Omega d square into b square. So this is the expression for amplitude in the case of driven force. When driving frequency omega d is close to natural angular frequency. That is omega d is approximately equal to omega. In that case omega square minus omega d square is approximately equal to 0. That is nothing but amplitude A is equal to F naught by this term will equal to 0. So the remaining term is under root of omega d square into b square. That is nothing but F naught divided by the square root and squares cancels. We will get omega d into b. Okay. Here amplitude A is equal to F naught divided by omega d into b. That means amplitude is inversely proportional to damping constant. If damping constant is less, amplitude will be more. That is the phenomenon of increasing amplitude when driven angular frequency is close to natural angular frequency. Natural angular frequency is called a resonance. Resonance is nothing but when omega d is equal to omega for small damping, omega d is equal to omega, and for small damping, that means B is approximately equal to 0. When B is equal to 0, we know that amplitude A equal to F naught divided by under root of m square into omega square minus omega d square whole square plus omega d square into b square. This is the equation we have written above. This one. Okay, I have written the same thing here. When damping is small, when B is equal to 0, this term goes to 0. So it will become F naught by under root of m square into omega square minus omega d square whole square. This is the equation. So finally we will get amplitude A is equal to the square and root cancels. So we will get F naught divided by m into omega square minus omega d square. Okay, we have discussed already. When driven angular frequency is equal to natural angular frequency, when omega is equal to omega d, this term will become 0. When this term is equal to 0, something by 0 is nothing but infinity. Amplitude will become infinity. Infinity means it will not become infinity. Amplitude will be extremely large when the amplitude is extremely large if driven angular frequency is equal to natural angular frequency. Such phenomenon is called resonance. Such a phenomenon is called resonance. I hope you understand this topic, resonance. Okay. Now I am going to discuss about unsolved problems. Unsolved problems. We will solve first 4 questions now. So here the first question is talking about the first question is, I am going to give you the clues here. The first question is the bob of pendulum is made up of a hollow brass sphere. Pendulum is made up of hollow brass sphere. What happens to the time period of the pendulum if the bob is filled with water completely? Why? Okay, when this bob is filled with water completely, what happens to the time period? We know, we have discussed already, time period equation for simple pendulum is 2 pi under root of L by G. Here time period depends only on length of the pendulum and acceleration due to gravity. So even if we fill the water completely, the length of the pendulum will not change. Length will not change. No change in length. And we are performing experiment on the earth surface, so acceleration due to gravity also, there is no change in G. 2 pi is also constant, there is no change. No change in 2 pi also. Therefore, time period remains constant. That means no change in time period. No change in time period. Okay, second question now. Two identical springs of spring constant K are joined one end of the other. So here two springs are joined together like this. Like this. They are in series. Let us consider the spring constant of this one is K. Both spring constant is K. This is K, this is K. For generalization, I am calling it as K1, this is K2, but both are equal to K. K1 is equal to K2 equal to K. So here mass is attached at this place. Now when we apply external force here, because of this external force, there is a elongation in the spring. Let us consider this elongation is x2 and the elongation is spring 1 is x1. Okay, so total elongation is equal to x1 plus x2. We know that f equal to k into x. So x equal to f by k. Total elongation. This is total elongation equal to x1 plus x2. So here total elongation, x total is nothing but net force divided by k. So x equal to net force divided by k. K effective, spring constant K effective, equal to x1 means because of this application of force, this is in elongation, this is also in elongation. So x1 can be written as x1 is equal to F net force by K1. So F net by K1. And x2 is equal to force F net by K2 because the spring constant in the second spring is K2. We consider it is. So F net divided by K2. So here F net cancels. Therefore 1 by K effective is equal to 1 by k1 plus 1 by k2. This is the formula when two springs are in series. So here he mentioned that k1 is equal to k2 equal to simply k. Therefore 1 by k effective is equal to 1 by k plus 1 by k plus 1 by k. So 1 by k plus 1 by k is nothing but 2 by k. Therefore 1 by reciprocal of k effective equal to 2 by k. Therefore k effective equal to k by 2. So this is the answer for second question. Now third one. Now we are going to discuss about third question here. The third question is, what are the physical quantities having uh, what are the physical quantities having maximum value at the main position in SHM. So this is nothing but I am representing main position. Main position is nothing but x equal to 0 position. This is x equal to plus a, and this is x equal to minus a, negative extreme. At main position, displacement is equal to 0, velocity is maximum. If velocity is maximum, kinetic energy is also maximum, and potential energy is equal to 0 here. So what are the maximum quantities at main position? Velocity is maximum and kinetic energy is maximum. At positive extremum, displacement is maximum. Displacement x equal to a, that means displacement is maximum and velocity is equal to 0. Acceleration is maximum here. As velocity equal to 0, kinetic energy also equal to 0 at this position. We have discussed already in previous classes. Acceleration is maximum, and which is equal to omega square into a. Maximum acceleration is omega square a. And we know that maximum velocity is nothing but omega into a. We have discussed these formulas already in the previous classes. Next, question number 4. Here, the question number 4 is, a particle executes simple harmonic motion such that maximum velocity during the oscillation V maximum is numerically equal to half of the maximum acceleration. We know V maximum is nothing but omega into a is equal to half of a maximum. A maximum is nothing but omega square into a. Omega square into a. Here a and a get cancels, and 1 omega and omega get cancels. The remaining thing here is 1 is equal to 1 by 2 into omega is only the remaining thing here. Therefore, omega is equal to 2 radians. Time period t is equal to 2 pi by omega. Asked to find out what is the time period. 2 pi by omega, 2 pi by, here we got omega value as 2 radians. So 2 and 2 get cancels. Therefore, time period t is equal to 2 seconds. This is the final answer. Students, now we are going to discuss another problems here. We are going to discuss 5, 6, 7 problems here. here. Problem number 5 is see, a mass of 2 kg, m equal to 2 kg, is attached to a spring of force constant K is equal to 260 newtons per meter, makes 100 oscillations. What is the time taken for 100 oscillations? Time taken for 100 oscillations equal to 100 into time for each oscillation. Total time equal to how many oscillations are there? 100 oscillations are there. So 100 into time for each oscillation. Time for each oscillation is nothing but time period t. So t is equal to 100 times time period. So t is equal to 100 times. Time period of spring mass system is nothing but 2 pi under root of m by k. So by substituting 2 value as in the place of mass and 260 in the place of k, you will get the answer for 5th question here. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about 6th question. In the case of 6th question, a simple pendulum in a stationary lift has a time period t. Consider this is a lift. This is a lift. In this, a simple pendulum is attached like this. This pendulum has a time period of t. Time period of this pendulum in lift is t, capital T. Okay. So what would be the effect on the time period when the lift moves up with uniform velocity, moves down with uniform velocity? First two parts are in both cases velocity is equal to constant. We know I am drawing a free body diagram. How many forces are acting? Tension force is acting upwards, mg is acting downwards, and as the velocity is equal to constant here, acceleration is equal to 0 in this case. So we know that T is equal to sum of forces is equal to m into a. Sum of forces is nothing but T plus of minus mg is equal to m into a here. So here acceleration equal to 0 because velocity is equal to constant. So T is equal to simply mg plus m into acceleration is 0. So T is equal to mg here. So that means the force acting here is equal to mass times acceleration. So here acceleration is equal to g itself. Therefore, this is nothing but tension force Ft. Ft minus mg, tension force Ft minus mg equal to ma. So Ft equal to m into g. That is nothing but acceleration is constant. Acceleration due to gravity is constant. So time period t equal to, we know, 2 pi under root of L by g for such a simple pendulum. G is, there is no effect of g here. So no change in time period here. No change in time period for both cases 1 and 2. As there is no change in acceleration due to gravity, so there is no change in time period for both cases 1 and 2. And for third case, moves up with uniform acceleration A. Third case is nothing but this is nothing but tension force, and the downward force is nothing but mg, and upward acceleration is there here. So sigma f is equal to m into a. So sigma f is nothing but tension force plus of minus mg is equal to m into a. Therefore tension force is equal to mg plus ma. So tension force is equal to m into g plus a. So here acceleration equal to g plus a. Therefore time period is equal to 2 pi root L by g. I am placing g plus a in the place of time period. So 2 pi under root of L divided by g plus a. As acceleration increases in numerator, so time period decreases. Time period decreases. Next one, when lift moves down with uniform acceleration A. When lift moves down with uniform acceleration A. So I am drawing free body diagram again. Tension force mg, and it is moving. Now it is moving downward with acceleration A. Therefore, net force is equal to M into A. Net force is nothing but tension force is acting upwards plus mg is acting downwards. So it is equal to minus mg is equal to M into, it is accelerating downwards, so minus A. Therefore, tension force equal to mg minus ma, that is equal to M into g minus A. So m into g minus a. Here acceleration is equal to g minus a. Therefore time period t is equal to, time period t is equal to 2 pi under root of L by, in the place of g we can replace with g minus a. Therefore as g is lesser, g is becoming less because a is subtracting from g. So as g minus a is there in the numerator, time period increases because g value decreases here. So time period is inversely proportional to g. As this value decreases in the denominator, t increases, time period increases. Okay, and fifth question is most begins to fall freely under the gravity. When it is begins to free fall under the gravity, a fifth point, in free fall case, acceleration a is equal to g. Therefore from this equation total force equal to m into g minus a. So here a is equal to g, so total force equal to m into g minus g is nothing but 0. So I am substituting in the place of time period t equal to 2 pi under root of L by g minus g. Acceleration is nothing but g minus g. G minus g is nothing but 0. So something by 0 is nothing but infinity. Therefore time period t is equal to infinity in this case. Increases, decreases, no change in time period in first two cases, right? So next question is seventh one. Seventh question is nothing but a particle executing simple harmonic motion. Particle executing simple harmonic motion has amplitude of 4 centimeters, that is nothing but 0.04 meters, and its acceleration at a distance of 1 centimeter at x equal to 1 centimeter, from the mean position is acceleration is 3 centimeter per second square. What will be its velocity b when it is at distance of x equal to 2 centimeters? What is velocity at x equal to 2 centimeters from the main position? We know an expression for velocity is nothing but omega under root of a square minus x square. Here a is known 4 centimeters and x is nothing but 2 centimeters in this case, but we don't know omega. In order to find omega, in the first conditions, he has mentioned that at x equal to 1 centimeter, acceleration a equal to 3 centimeter per second square. We know that acceleration equation is a equal to omega square into x. Magnitude of acceleration is omega square into x. Acceleration is 3 centimeter per second square when x equal to 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter. So here centimeter and centimeter cancels. Therefore, omega square equal to 3 and omega is equal to root 3 radians. Omega equal to root 3 radians. So substitute in this place here. So V is equal to, velocity V is equal to root 3 into under root of a square minus x square. A square is nothing but 4 square minus x square. At x equal to 2 centimeters, what is velocity? Here we need to substitute x equal to 2 centimeters here. So 2 square, that is nothing but root 3 into 4 square is nothing but under root of 4 square is 16 minus 2 square is nothing but 4, that is nothing but root 3 into root of 16 minus 4 is nothing but 12, root 12, root 3 into root 12. So velocity V equal to root 3 into root 12 can be written as root 3 into 4, that is nothing but root 3 into root 4. So velocity V is equal to root 3 into root 3 is nothing but 3. 3 into root 4 is nothing but 2. That is 6 centimeters per second is the answer. 6 centimeters per second is the final answer. Thank you, students. We will continue the remaining problems in next class.